Christians leaving the Holy Land? This is an interesting question because we hear different versions of that story. But again, you have to look at exactly what is going on with Christians in the Middle East. According to Mission Network News, dozens of Christians have been beaten and killed in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo. The eastern part of the country is reportedly a much more dangerous place than the western part. The Christians who were killed were targeted by Islamic radicals who murdered them using axes and machetes. Mark Lucky with Every Child Ministries said there is little evidence of violence in the western part of the country where he works, however. So depending on where you are in the country depends on whether or not you might have been attacked. The situation in Europe is a complex one, and that's why, as the Prime Minister of Hungary said, we'll talk about that in Section 6, you can't deal with the complex issues of Europe by simply alleging charges of xenophobia. It doesn't encompass that. It can't deal with the complex issues. There's a new study that's come out that shows that potentially thousands of Christians have been attacked and harassed in German migrant homes by Muslim guards and by fellow migrants. Multiple human rights organizations are warning the German government of the conditions that Christians in the asylum homes are being suggested to. One organization has chronicled 231 specific cases of the harassment of Christians by Muslim migrants and Muslim security guards in these asylum homes. Open Doors, one humanitarian relief organization which specializes in helping Christians who are persecuted worldwide. Marcus Rohde, a member of the group, said the study is only the tip of the iceberg and called for more action to address the problem. Breitbart London has reported many times of the challenges which migrants who have chosen to convert from Islam to Christianity that they face. Many converts wish to do so in their homelands, but in places, of course, like Iran or Afghanistan, the penalty for leaving the Islamic faith could be death, and so they fled to Europe. Now they're in European asylum homes, and they're finding more and more that they're just as much in danger from radical Muslims in Europe as they were in home countries. And because of political correctness, this tends to be one of the stories that doesn't often get told. Those groups representing the Coptic Christians of Cairo say that the recent kidnapping of a Christian teenager underscores mounting concern about increased anti-Christian violence in that predominantly Muslim nation. 13-year-old Anthonius Farag was reportedly kidnapped on April 5th in the province of Upper Egypt. After a ransom was paid, the young teen was released 12 days later. Christians said the boy was snatched outside of his school early in the morning. The perpetrators reportedly released a Muslim child after identifying the student's religion by his name, but sped away in a vehicle, forcefully retaining the Christian teen. According to the Coalition of Coptic Egypt, this is not an isolated incident. In the Upper Egyptian province of Qena alone, at least 72 cases of kidnap, extortion against Coptic Christians was reported during the period from 2011 to 2014. Also, one of the issues that's happening inside the Egyptian military, and this is not changed really since Al-Sisi's government came into power, and that is the suiciding, shall we say, of Christians who are in the military. One day they're doing fine talking to their family on the phone, and the next day they wind up dead, and the verdict is it's suicide, apparently being killed by some of their Muslim co-military personnel. Christian aid workers have urged prayers after up to 200 Christians were reportedly killed in sustained bombardments of Syria's northern city of Aleppo. The civil war in that country now, by the way, is in its 6th year. They've asked that you lift up in prayer the Christian community of Aleppo and all innocent civilians in the city following a sustained period of bombardment. Between April 22nd and April 30th, some 1,350 rockets hit the Christian area, killing 132 people, half of them women and children. So they really need your prayer there if you would do that, please. A Chinese Christian woman recently wrote a letter detailing persecution that she experienced, including the loss of her mother and brother, prompted by the government-backed demolition of their home on June 4th of 2008. The family of Wang Chunyan, a Christian now residing in the United States, traveled to and petitioned higher government offices in an attempt to facilitate legal recourse. On the way to Beijing, Wang's mother passed away. Back in January of 2014, authorities criminally detained Wang after she attended a Bible study at Beijing Holy Love Fellowship Church while she served her 1-month sentence for an illegal gathering charge. Her mentally disabled brother died after wandering off due to lack of supervision. And also her sister, Wang Chongmei, was sentenced to 1-year detention. China Aid exposes abuses such as those experienced by Wang Chunyan's family in order to promote religious freedom and the rule of law. As we talk about China right here, remember that I can't remember when we first started reporting on it. I think it was 2014 that China was embarking upon a 3-year systematic crackdown on both the Protestant and Catholic home churches as part of, well, I'm going to call it paranoia. Because China, if you've been reading some of the economic articles on China, China is really approaching a day of economic reckoning here. And its window of opportunity to try to deal with that window is closing. And so it's interesting to watch the Chinese Communist Party, which is now becoming the minority. Remember, they have a bustling, vibrant middle class now that's been enabled by the economic growth that's been present in China for the past few years. If they go over this cliff, they're going to have to explain to a lot of unhappy Chinese people why they're in such a mess. I want to zoom out from that, zoom into the fact that Venezuela now is a basket case.